All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Word with Ty Brownlow. I am your host, Ty Brownlow. And remember, no one is worthless. No story is worthless. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special guest for you. Give you a couple of words about my guest. Persistence, love, faith, complete. All the way from Johns Creek. That's near Atlanta, y'all. I'm just going to say Johns Creek, Georgia. Okay. Please put your hands together for Miss Kimberly Gowdy. How are you?
I am doing well. How are you doing?
I am great. Look, let me just say this to you. I am blessed to have you on my platform today because look here. I don't even know how to put these things into words, ladies and gentlemen. Like y'all know, I don't really, get tongue-tied and speechless, but this sort of, hit me a little bit, okay? You are the author of a very wonderful book.
Yes.
Called The Colorless Womb.
Yes.
And before we really get into this, I just want to read this. I just really want to read this stat to everyone so it will let them get a feel as to what we're going to talk about today. So, ladies and gentlemen, in our very lovely United States of America, did you know that about 6% of married women are infertile after possibly 1 year of marriage? But did you also know 12% have difficulty either getting pregnant or getting pregnant and carrying till full term? So everybody's like, Ty, why are you talking about these stats? Why are you saying this? Why are you saying that? Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to talk about a very serious thing called infertility. Okay. And that's pretty much what our good friend Kimberly Gowdy's book is about, The Colorless Womb. But there's a but. There's a twist. Because see, ladies and gentlemen, this story ends on a high note, not a low note. Okay. But before we get to that high note, we gotta take a little, we gotta take a little dip into the low parts first. So Once again, thank you, Miss Gowdy. And I just want to say your book tackles some issues that I'm not gonna say are taboo, but we really don't like to speak on it because of our own personal feelings.
Yeah.
So now you were married, your first marriage,
Yes.
You were married before you were originally married for about 11 years, I want to say.
Yes. Okay. 11 years. Yes.
11 years, and the person that you were married to had a substance abuse issue.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Things were not working out, and you were already on your third miscarriage.
Yes, we had several miscarriages. Throughout the 11 years, we had a total of 7 losses, and then later in our marriage, we had 2 very late term losses. So during my 6th month, and then during my 5th month. So it was very traumatic. And on top of that, dealing with someone who had a substance abuse problem. So that was, that made it even worse.
Yes. And, so like I said, these are things that people don't really talk about enough, to me personally, because, there's a psychology behind all of this, that I don't think we really, take time to dig deep into. And basically, just to put a long story short, she got out of that. Okay. That ended. All right. And when it ended, she made her way to a place where she currently resides. Well, before she got there, she got to Atlanta. All right. Atlanta, Georgia. Okay. ATL, beautiful place. And I just want you to, just take us a little bit through, okay, look, this isn't working. I'm getting a divorce. We got the divorce. I'm moving on. In your mind, okay, how is this like, all right, look, this didn't work. And I heard you talk about divorce being a death almost in a sense. And I've heard people say that before. So I really want you to go a little bit deep into that. So after that ends and, you know, you have this new life, you are on your way to Atlanta. Like, what's your mindset?
Like you said, it is like a death. I mean, someone who, you know, even though, you know, you've had some very tumultuous situations happen throughout the marriage,
Mm-hmm.
you still went into it with, you know, this is going to be forever. And, you know, you feel like you're not just letting down yourself, you feel like you're letting down your family and your friends, and you feel embarrassed, ashamed, like, did you make a mistake? You know, you know, just there's so many different feelings that you're going through. And, you know, it's, you know, when you think about just a regular breakup, you know, from a boyfriend or girlfriend, this is like exponentially tougher to deal with after, you know, you've been together for so long and seeing this person every single day, and your finances are tied together. Everything is tied together, and it's hard. Yeah.
Yes. And okay, so you just hit on something that, you know, like I said, you know, I don't think we have enough of this, you know, or these types of conversations, because as you said, everything is intertwined, from the finances to, you know, the house to what have you. Everything is intertwined. It's just not like a regular relationship or, you know, boyfriend, girlfriend. Hey, you go your way, I'm going to go my way. No. It's a little, man, it's much more complicated than that. And you said something very profound. Basically you said you didn't feel like, well, you felt like you were letting down not only yourself, but family, you know, other people or what have you. And, you know, I've heard people say that from time to time, you know, or pretty much in your book, you know, you pretty much reference like, man, death by like 1,000 cuts or so, or what have you. Look, y'all need to get this book. I'm telling y'all right now, this book is very, very good. Okay. Very good. Very good. We're going to talk about all this now. So let me just ask, okay, so you're in Atlanta, you know, you're going through the motions, you're living, but one day, fate will have it, you went to go, I think, to see your primary care physician?
Yes.
Okay, so you go see your primary care physician. Ladies and gentlemen, this is when this story starts turning around now, okay? But we still got a couple of bumps in the road, but this is sort of when the, you know, vibe started to shift. So you go see this primary care physician, but this isn't just any regular primary care physician, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to give the spoiler away, but you know, I remember you saying as you were sitting there and you saw your doctor, these thoughts came into your head. And once again, I'm going to go back into the psychology of all this, because sometimes, you know, basically when we're dealing with things like infertility, things of that nature, as you said, like, man, like, who's going to, like, you know, want to be with a person like me, you know?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I mean, I can't fulfill certain things, and, you know, these are things that I really want, but it's just not happening. So you sort of get this mindset or whatever that, hey, you know, I'm just useless to some of everyone. But that's not how this happened, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So she went to go see her primary care physician. And can you just tell us a little bit about the interaction? I mean, just a little bit about the interaction, because I don't want to give everything away. I love the story personally, but I just don't want to give it away because I just think it's like phenomenal. And I honestly think it's something along the lines of, as I said, faith, persistence, love, and complete. You know, I didn't say these words for any reason at all. Like, all these words tie into the story. So as you see this person, your doctor, you get these thoughts into your head, but you two have an interaction, and the interaction is, I mean, how did it go the first time?
Well, I mean, the like you said, you know, seeing him, you know, and it wasn't even just him. I think after going through so much with my previous relationship, marriage, and like you said, psychologically, it's like being beat down, like emotionally. It's like being beat down. So when you come to a place like Atlanta, when you think about, the ATL, and it's the land of people with, nice this, nice that. Everything is, what do you drive? What's your zip code? Whole nine. You come to Atlanta, and that, honestly, it's not even just the reality shows. That's how, being here, you have to kind of step it up a little bit. And so I'm coming here, I'm originally from Connecticut. And so it's not like, oh yeah, welcome to Connecticut where the players play. We're not saying that at all in Connecticut. So, and I come here, to Atlanta, it's very different. So seeing a lot of different people, I felt like my self-esteem wasn't there. I just didn't feel like I fit the part. I didn't look the part. And so anybody that I saw, this just really happened to be like, seeing, the doctor. In my mind, it's like, people like that don't, look at people like me, because I just didn't feel like, I just remember that in saying to myself, because, just having gone through what I went through, it's like, I don't deserve, somebody like that. Like, that's how bad I was feeling about myself.
Once again, the psychology of it, like it, and ladies and gentlemen, like, this is why this is like, like what we're discussing is important to me, on like a lot of different levels, but most of all, like from a psychological level, there's already so much more going on in this world, definitely in this country, that we have to deal with, sometimes you really want a peace of mind wherever you can get it. And, home should be that place, but sometimes, home is sometimes where the hate is the most, but, it's just that mindset. I like to call it the big I, little you, or in this term, the big you, little I, because as you said, your mindset is like, hey, I just went through all this stuff. No one's really checking for me. Yeah, the ATL is nice, but you know what? I'm a bomb insurance man, agent. I get all these awards, I make it do what it do. You know what I'm saying? See, I ain't want to tell y'all about that. We got some other stuff we're going to talk about too, but, I ain't want to tell y'all about this yada, bomb insurance person here, making all these sales. Okay. Hey, okay. So if she doesn't have anything at the end of the day, she has her career. Okay. Yes. Still, man, she's still making a way, to, man, move on. As you said, there was like, I want to say there was a little bit of debt from like, your former marriage or what have you. And man, cleaning that up, got all that straight. Man, we're back to looking, okay, hey, you know what? New year, new me now. All right, okay. Yes. And so I'm just going to mosey on past a couple of parts of the book because, she's going out, she's, doing things, she's meeting people. There was even a reference to Al Jarreau in Earth, Wind, and Fire. And the person that came to my mind was, is Al Jarreau still doing shows? But yes, obviously he is. So, all right, there you go. So, moving on. So, basically, I just want to talk a little bit more about you meeting your current husband, because I love this dynamic. I just love how everything like happened. Basically, you had a townhouse, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so you had a townhouse, and I want to say, coming on like a couple of like visits or what have you, you all start discussing housing.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Yeah. Through the visits. Yeah.
Okay. So you all start discussing housing. He makes he says something to you, or he makes a suggestion. You take him up on a suggestion. But at first you were like, no, because you're a doctor. I mean, I know I'm bomb, but you're like Dr. Bomb. You're on a whole
Yeah.
scale than I'm on right now.
I can't afford wherever you can live, I can't afford to live there. That was what I thought.
That is what we thought. But as life has shown us, sometimes, man, persistent.
Yeah.
We trudge on. We actually take them up on this offer. Leaves a name as a referral. And then, ladies and gentlemen, that's when it happens. Okay. So leaves his name as a referral. You get a certain phone call a couple of days after that. And I believe, me personally, as I'm reading, to me, that's where everything changed. That's where everything changed. I'm just gonna, I don't know why I'm doing Oprah's book club right now, but to me, that's where everything really changed with you. But I love this story. I love this story because this is a really feel good story. The topic's not feel good, but how the story ends is feel good. You take him up on this offer. You all go out, have it. I won't call it a date because to me personally, it wasn't a date. Like, hey, you know what, man, I did something for you. Now, man, let me do something for you. Let me take you out. Wow, there you go. So you all go out. There's a phone call and there's a situation.
Yes.
That changes the whole dynamic of everything. And I'm just gonna say, that Mr. Gowdy boy, he smooth, brother, smooth. That's all I gotta say. But there's a situation that happens. You all have to, leave dinner because of an emergency.
Yes.
You all tend to that emergency. But while you're tending to that emergency, you do something while you're at a hospital.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I thought was very, like, as I said, this is where it changes. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. I see it. I see the change coming. Okay. And from that moment on, this isn't like, patient doctor sort of like, happenings, like we're getting a little bit pre-serious, but not too serious,
Yeah, I think he starts to see me like differently because of the hospital and
what happened at the hospital. We can't tell you what happened because you have to get the book. But you go. And this happens. That sort of makes the bond a little stronger. And then one day, I'm just going to fast forward. One day he shows up at your door. And then it happened. And then it happened. What happened? What happened? You all ask me what happened. Well, you already know what I'm going to say. Go get the book. But if you need me to give you a little insight on what happened, Mr. David Gowdy showed up at the door. All right. And I'm just going to say, hey, honestly, he's much more braver than I ever would have been, because like how he just, basically how it was written and how it said, how he did it. I'm just like, yeah, dude, I don't know if I could do that, but that brings you all close together. And now, can I say at this point, you all are officially a couple? You're like,
yes,
okay.
Yes.
All right. But still going through all of this, ladies and gentlemen, even though, man, look here, Kimberly's found this love, okay, which is one of the words I use.
Yeah.
All right. She found this love. Still at the end of the day, the faith and the persistence of wanting to be a mom is still at the top of the list. Don't get it twisted. Okay. I mean, we're happy for everything that we like found up to this point, but the completeness of everything, we still haven't gotten it yet. But we're moving to that point. But we still got a couple of bumps in the road.
Yeah.
So let's get through some of these bumps. So now you all are talking, and can you just tell me how basically surrogacy came up?
Well, so I think when Dave and I got together, it was like a whirlwind relationship. So we were dating for like 5 months, and then we got engaged, and shortly thereafter we were married. And we always say, like, a lot of my friends and me, we talk about the fact that, like, we're 100 years old. Like, if you meet somebody now, it's like, I don't need to be like engaged or dating you for 3 years before you just kind of know what you like at this point.
Yes.
So, so we talk about that. So, but the thing is, sometimes when you get together and it's like, I love you, you love me, like, and you get together, you don't talk about everything that, you some of the things you don't really get to talk about. And in our case, I hadn't really shared with him the fact that my past, I had so many losses. And the reason I didn't talk about that with him is because, in all honesty, when I came to Atlanta, I just felt like, if I meet someone, like at my age, we're just gonna, we'll travel, we'll have a great time. It'll just, enjoy life, and that's it. So I didn't really go into it. And it, unbeknownst to me, he had, two daughters, but I think he always longed for a son. And you never know what you're going to get, like, when you're with a child, but
True.
It was a desire of his heart. And so at that point, I had to then tell him, okay, let me see, do I start with the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, like, which loss do we talk about? And that's how we went down that road of surrogacy.
Okay.
Ultimately.
Okay. So let me just back it up just a little bit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that part I probably didn't know, or I probably read past, that he was longing for a son. Like, I knew he had two daughters, and there's some things with that too,
Yes.
But we're going to get to that. All right. So when you're having a conversation like this, like, how do you even start this? Like, how does this even happen? Because I'm just going to use my personal experience just for like one quick second. I've had this, talk before. There's no real way. There's no opener to this conversation. There's no icebreaker to this conversation. There's no easy way to like get into this conversation. You have to really go heads into this conversation, and it can be uncomfortable for the other person, to really, talk about how they truly feel, because sometimes you have to, realize that, man, even though you've been through a lot, you may be hitting a person with something like beyond their world.
Right.
Okay. Like, I don't like what, so, or let me just phrase the question this way to you. How can, couples who are going through things like this, in your opinion, is there any easy way to have a conversation like, infertility?
It's not easy, but by any stretch of the imagination.
Mm-hmm.
But when you are with the person the one who God has you with, the person that you're supposed to be with, I believe that, situations, they will work out in your favor if this is that person who is for you. They will, like, a lot of times that, you'll say, oh my goodness, I could have never gone through this, or I could have never gone through that. We all say that about other people's situations. Right. But the truth of the matter is, there's a scripture where it talks about God knows our frame. He knows what we're made of. That's so true. What you are going through, you're able to handle that particular situation, and the person whom you're going through the situation with, you know, God already knows like what it is that you can handle. And so if he's put you together, then it's something that you can pretty much go through together. And if you can't go through it, then maybe that person just was not the right person for you. Yeah. It's a very hard conversation. It takes a lot of understanding. There's going to be a lot of tears. It's a lot of emotion. You know, especially if there's, you know, one person who has the problem, but it's like any other situation where you have a spouse who maybe they develop cancer, or they have, you know, other, you know, medical issues. Do you just bail on them at, you know, at the worst time? Do you do that? You know, you hang in there. And so that is why you still have people with successful marriages, and they, you know, they adopt, they have surrogates, or they are, you know, they could be childless and they are still together because the relationship was so much more than that one thing that didn't work out for them. So yeah, but again, like I said, it is a difficult situation, and it's a difficult conversation.
Yes, true. So I want to fast forward a little bit, and I want to talk about, can I say her name? Heidi?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to talk about Heidi.
Yeah.
And basically, like, when the idea of Heidi, you know, first became, you know, presented to you, I'm not going to say what you said, you know, at the table, you know what I'm saying? We ain't going to say what you said at the table, but let's just talk about when the idea of Heidi being presented to you, like, what was going through your mind pretty much at this time?
Absolutely not. Like I just, you know, not without giving the story away, you know, like we had gone down the road of surrogacy, like with, you know, so many different times, and it not working out with us. And for me, if I was going to entertain surrogacy, which we ultimately did, yes, I wanted to have, you know, in no racist way, but I just thought that a Black woman would be representative of the surrogate, and only because I kind of wanted to, you know, live through it. Like, you know, if I can't carry my child, at least I wanted to kind of see myself in it. And that, you know, so for me, I wanted to have a Black woman to carry my child. And you know, so we went through the process, and it didn't work out that way. And once we were pretty much done, that's when Heidi was presented to us, and it was like a no. You know, like, I don't know, it's like Simon Cowell. That's a no for me. Like, no, like, that's a no for me.
Okay, just as a side note, I just want to say this about the book as well. For all my old schoolers, man, there's a lot of song references in this book. Sammy Davis Jr. is in this book. I gotta be me. Yeah, so I just want to put that out there. I love that too about it. So yes, okay. So now, as you said, man, today with so much stuff going on in this country, racial tension being at an all-time high.
Yep.
You know, they presented, you know, Heidi to you, and at first that's a no for me, dog. But you know, once you all finally meet me, you know, there was something about it, you know, that, okay, you know what? Let me ease up a little bit, because, you know, now we're talking, well, see, this is where the love comes in now, ladies.
Yeah.
Okay. Love is coming through the door. All right. So in case you all were wondering, where were we with the words? We're in love mode now. Okay. So it took a minute for the love to get there, but, you know, once the instant like meeting, you know, happened, boom, everything clicked.
It was great.
And it went from, man, look, I'm not even looking at it as a race issue.
Right.
Like so many other people can look at it as a, like, oh, there's no way I'm going to let this woman her? No.
Exactly.
No. But when you're persistent and you have faith and you want that love, it's not about everything else. It's about, man, that love, that faith, and that persistence. Okay.
Exactly.
To become complete. Okay. So we meet Heidi, we hit it off. Things go well. Okay. Things go well. And pretty much for the most part, things work themselves out. Now, there were some things, you know, that you talked about in your book that I really didn't know that people had to go through when you're getting a surrogate.
Yeah.
I get that book. You got to get the book. I'm not even going to tell you, but you got to get the book. Okay. It's this powerful. And let me just say this as a side note. The book isn't, look, for all those that ever really had a dream, for all those who have really like been through something and they're just looking for like the next step and they don't know what the next step is, you can read this book as well, because don't think of it just as a book on, you know, well, hey, you know, on me wanting a child. No, it's about going after something that you want and even going down roads that you really never thought you would take, you know, but it's about the love. Okay. And it's about being complete. So for the love and to be complete, you will travel down roads that you really never thought you would.
Exactly.
You know? So, wow. Okay. We meet, we go through, everything's love, you know. Then we find out, which I found like, you know, a little odd, but we're pregnant. Okay.
Yes.
All right. And, you know, like we're pregnant, you know, like, oh, you know, it's a wonderful thing. And, you know, I love that part of the book as well. And I love, like, you know, when you talked about that, because sometimes, you know, man, in situations like that, even with joyous situations like that, people can be a little selfish, you know, here and there.
Yeah.
But I like the fact that everyone was on the same accord. Okay.
Absolutely.
So we're all in this together, you know. And I also like the fact that Dr. David Gowdy, this guy, okay, this guy, all right. One of the things I love about you two, especially how you present it in the book, you know, sometimes when you're having like, you know, okay, look, I don't know, no, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that, He's going to come through and be that voice of reasoning, you know, because that's what it sounds like. He's like, look, you know,
yes.
Now, Kimberly, yeah, man, it's the voice of reasoning. Trust me, I know. I do it all the time. But I like that because he's your calm.
Yes.
You know, and you two go through this, you know, together, man. Chin up, you know, man.
Yeah.
Straightforward and handle and, man, become a family.
Yes.
Okay. She is persistent because she had faith. That faith brought her love and, you know, something totally different, but it brought love. That's what she was looking for. And in the end, she became complete because what she was, you know, after and what she had in her heart, she knew she could have, she ended up having. And now, is it Doc?
Yes, Doc.
Okay. Little Doc. Okay. And now little Doc is here. Okay. So this is what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, this ends on a high note. This doesn't end on, you know, people being upset and, you know, going their separate ways. And I'm, you know, I just have to suffer through. No. You know, even though those types of situations happen, this isn't one of those situations. Okay.
Right.
So, you have an organization called Moby. Okay. Can you tell us a little bit more about this Moby?
Okay, Moby, MOBY, it stands for Mommy Older, Baby Younger.
Yes.
And It's for women who are 35 and older who become moms, and it can be, through adoption. They could become stepmoms. It could be a surrogacy. But it's 35 and older. And so, we have a private group on Facebook, and then a lot of us are happen to be in Atlanta, but people are everywhere in our group. But we get together, and it's like, we have different challenges, things where, energy levels, okay, we need to work out, we need to, do those things, it's like you have young moms, and you're going to these, plays for the kids, and it's like, okay, do I, my hair is gray and I got a cane, you just want to, you don't want to look like their child's grandmother. You want to be vibrant. Even, your style of dress, you're trying to, kind of look good. And so, so it's just those challenges of just talking to each other and, and sharing, with each other about it. So it's good. And it's just giving each other tips on different things and pep talks. And so it's been really well received, because there's so many women now who become moms, later. And, so it's a unique, there are unique challenges with it. I mean, it's great, but at the same time, you do have some, issues, that you face.
Being a parent, and hey,
Yeah.
look, I'm a parent of a 19-year-old, so I can.
Wow.
Yes, yes, there are things that you really can't do because there are laws in this world. So
yeah, exactly. Where were those laws when we were kids? There were no laws.
No. We didn't have those laws, but somehow magically they
did.
disappeared, over the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Government. But no. But no, I mean, I get it and I understand, being especially in this day and age, being a parent, you're fighting so much. You're fighting technology, okay? You're fighting peer pressure from, your kids' friends and things of that nature. You're fighting society, because they're trying to tell you what you should do and what you shouldn't do. And, no, you shouldn't do this because, you're like of this, bracket when that can be done for people in this bracket. Like, no.
Yeah.
So I just first and foremost, I just commend you for everything, like you are a real trooper, and, just to go through everything you've been through and get to this point. And now, you have a village, well, hell, it's a big village. Like you are like a city now. Okay. All right. So you went from a village to a city, and, but you're complete.
Exactly. And one of the things that I would say, you mentioned it earlier, was about the climate in our world, everything that's going on in terms of race and politics, and everybody's on their different sides, whatever. And while I was writing this book, I mean, that's one of the reasons I will say that I really wanted to get it out there, because I have, a lot of different friends, diverse backgrounds of friends, and we all should. And I would have, some friends, who were white, and they would say, Kimberly, the way that, you see things on television, it makes it seem as if we are all a certain way. Like, we're, Black people are all this way, white people are all this way. And that's just not true. And so the fact that so many people were coming to me and saying, Kimberly, you really should get the story out there. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that it was to showcase that, like my tagline is, we're more alike than different. So with everything that's happened with, 4 years of crazy, and to me, in terms of politics, I just think that this was just a great time to have something that's out there that is more of, as you said earlier, a feel good story, something that, that people need. And, just, you're going through COVID, you're going through all this. It's just, it's so much tension, and you just need something else that's out there. So this book was, just my way of saying, or just showcasing that, yes, there are bad things going on, but there are still good people in this world. So yeah.
That's it. She just told you all there are bad things, but there are still good people. All right. And she stumbled upon a tribe of good people. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, no, if we're going to, be real about the situation, you stumbled upon your village of great people. I'm not even going to say good people, but great people. Because some of the people that you even talk about in your book, and I want to say one of them, is her name Vapes?
Oh,
Vapes. Okay. All right. Because of the situations you went through with her, sort of got you to where you are now. And then I forgot the other friend, but the real friend that will always tell you the real, no matter what, So you need these types of people in your life, and you need the Heidis of the world, to break down those misconceptions, you may have had before. I'm not going to say stereotypes, misconceptions.
Excellent word.
Word was Brownlow. But but no, like you need, those types of people to break these things down for you, so that you can have a different lens than everyone else, because our lens can be skewed.
That's right.
Very easily, like I like to wear rose colored. Man, they may turn them like, black.
Exactly.
Well, they may turn them yellow. So I don't really know what's going on. Everything's yellow now. Okay. It's wild. But, okay. So if people want to get the book, The Colorless Womb.
The Colorless Womb.
But if people want to get this book, how can they get this book?
They can go to Amazon. It's on Amazon, Barnes and Noble. They can go to thecolorlesswomb.com. Okay. Follow me on Instagram, Colorless Womb _ on Twitter, Colorless Womb _. But everything is Colorless Womb. You can go, like I said, the website, colorlesswomb.com. They can get the book, or just put in Colorless Womb for Amazon, Barnes and Noble. Oh, and Apple iBook.
Oh, Apple iBook. Yeah. Okay, all right, okay, big time. Okay, Apple iBook. And look here, for all my people with Prime accounts, which I know a lot of you with Prime accounts, man, you already know it'll be here the next day. Go ahead and order that. Thank you. And leave a great review. There you go. All right.
Yes, that would be much appreciated.
Yes. So let me ask, how has the book been received?
It's been well received. Absolutely well received. And surprisingly, a lot of men have read this book. I'm just, yeah.
So let me give you a little bit of an insight as to why men probably find this book interesting. As I said before, there are a lot of men out here, either married or in relationships, that are in this situation. Okay. Whether it's them or their spouse, they're in the situation. So as a man, I don't know of too many other men that I can go and have a conversation like this with. There's really no group for men to have this type of conversation with, So as I said before, if you're going off the public's perception in the media and society, it will have you to believe that this is a woman's issue. So there's always going to be women's groups and things of this nature, support or what have you for them. But infertility also happens in men, so where's the support for them? So a book like this gives perspective, true, it's from a woman's perspective, but at the same time, people fail to understand whether you've been in a relationship where there's been a miscarriage, or you've had an abortion because of like tubular pregnancy or things of that nature, man, psychologically, it affects both people. Yes. We don't talk about it enough, but it really does. And if you go off the strength of, like I said, society and what other people feel, they will have you to believe that, hey, this is a woman's issue. Men don't really get too caught up in this, but that's not true. Right. So I will say to you, you have something. Look, as my grandfather used to tell me, if they want to buy it off your back, you got something. Okay? If they want to buy it off your back, you have something. Okay? You have something. And I would love to see your book get made into a movie. No Lifetime, please. Please, no Lifetime. Please no. But I would love to see your book get made into a movie, because
so would I.
No, seriously, like I really believe it's that special, and I really do believe it like hits home, you know, to a lot of people. And as I said before, don't take it, you know, don't take my words just from, you know, the infertile, you know, aspect of it. I'm talking about anything in life that you feel may be holding you back, or you just don't, you know, have yet, that you want to feel complete. Be persistent, be faithful, love what it is that you're doing. Eventually you will be complete with what it is that you want. That's just what it is. Okay. So before we even get out of here, before I even ask my last question, do you have any words of advice for those couples who are going either married or in relationships or what have you, who are going through this turbulent time right now? Are there some words of encouragement you can give them?
I would say, of course, you know, it seems like a cliche, but never giving up. Like if it's a desire of your heart, God will give you the desire of your heart. And, you know, you'll read this in my book too, that initially, like we were looking at adoption. So there are other ways of, you know, becoming parents. And the thing is too, I mean, someone had asked me when I talked about surrogacy, and I said I absolutely would not consider it. And they said to me, is being a mom to a child your what, you know, your goal, or is it just, you know, going through the process, like to get to basically the end result is what they were trying to say. Isn't that worth more than like the process? Like if your goal is that you want to be a mom, does it really matter how you became a mom? So it just really you know, okay, I'm like, yeah. But so
who that was who said I'm not gonna say so, I know who it was who said
so that was, you know, so that's it. And so I would say to those couples that, you know, again, you know, not giving up and being open to, you know, it could be outside the box. Then, you know, think, you know, other ways to think about it and to look at it. I was only thinking that celebrities honestly like went through surrogacy. Like I don't know anybody in my circle who's ever done this, you know. So I knew I would look at like, oh, Angela Bassett, like, okay, she did, was not like, you know, I can go call her and say, hey, Angela, so what did you do? You know, yeah. So that was that was all I knew.
I mean, it would have been great if you could.
It would have been great.
No. And you know, as you said, it goes back to what you said before, man, like it's a tough conversation, but it has to be had. The conversation has to be had. You all have to discuss this, because if you don't, I mean, you know, I don't really want to say it's going to, well, no, more than likely 99.9% of the time, it will put stress on your relationship and your
absolutely
marriage, okay? And, you know, you should be together during crisis, not apart. Just going to say it, people.
Absolutely.
The Colorless Womb. Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Apple iBooks, colorlesswomb.com. All right. So Miss Kimberly Gowdy, look, I didn't even know the time passed, how it passed. I'm really enjoying. Look, let me just say, this is seriously, and this is no joke. This is probably one of the best conversations I've had, on a topic, since I've been doing my show,
Awesome.
and I feel this is something that, as I said before, really needs to be talked about in a lot of relationships, because a lot of us are, going through this, and a lot of you all are suffering in silence. Some of you all have attitudes about your, partner or spouse or whatever, because of the situation that honestly you really shouldn't be having if you all talk about it.
Right.
Okay. Talk about it. Yes, it's hard. Yes, it's difficult. Yes, it's going to have you, be introspective. Oh, yeah. Oh, introspective. Yeah. Look inside. You have to look inside. Yes. Okay. For those who aren't up on my big words. Okay. You have to look inside and see what it is, that's going on with you, and see who you are at the end of the day as a person. Are you a big I, or are you a little you? All right.
Awesome.
Mic dropped. So we're going to move on here. Okay. Miss Kimberly Gowdy, man, I don't even want this conversation to end, but unfortunately, really I've come to the very last question of my show, the question that my show is known for, so I'm going to present it to you. Miss Kimberly Gowdy, what is the one word that best describes you, and why?
Strong. Yeah.
Say that. Say it. Say it. Say it. Come on now. Come on, man.
Yes, I'm gonna say.
You better bring it home. You better bring it home now. Why strong? No.
Yes, because throughout everything that I've gone through and what everyone will read in the book, I still have my faith, and I believe in, great things, and I still have, my belief in, people and situations, and that things will be better, that you can go through, you can be, what, I'm going to do a mic drop. You can be bitter, or you can be better. How about you can be bitter?
Well, she didn't come through with it, y'all. You can be bitter, or you can, hey, look here. Bitter. Look, that needs to be a t-shirt. You need to go put that on a t-shirt right now and go sell that t-shirt to these people.
That is kind of good, though.
Good. And it can be a package with the book. So look at it. T-shirt with the book. All right. First 10 people to reach out. All right. That t-shirt and that book. Okay. Man.
Be bitter, be better.
Be bitter, be better. Okay.
Right.
Whoop. Okay, yeah. Man. Now that's a mic drop, ladies and gentlemen. Rock. Okay. Look here. Look, once again, thank you.
Thank you
for coming on my platform. Man, tell that brother, Dr. David Gowdy. Tell that brother I said hello. And man, he has a look here. He don't know me, but man.
Thank you so much.
He got a friend in me, I like his style. I really love his style. I love his style. Okay. All right. Yes. So, man, give a little Doc a hug. Man, I hope everything works. Man, look here. Well, no, everything is working out. I ain't gonna talk about I hope everything is working out, y'all. Okay. Because she's complete.
Yeah.
All right. Complete. And at the end of the day, that's what we all choose. Well, that's what we should want. We should want with whatever it is that we have. Okay. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Word with Ty Brownlow. I've been your host, Ty Brownlow. Remember, no one is worthless. No story is worthless. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Word with Ty Brownlow. Or, man, go to my website, tybrownlow.com. You're definitely going to get this conversation right here. Okay. plus other great interviews. Miss Kimberly Gowdy.
Thank you.